Welcome everybody to Snake Cinema Reviews. I'm your host, Prince Elias. This is Lafayette, and today we are reviewing the live-action Little Mermaid remake from Disney. It is the latest in Disney's collection of remakes that they've done. Most of their remakes were from the Disney Renaissance, as well as some previous beforehand, like the Dumbos and the Peter Pans that came out way beforehand. But when Walt was still alive, but pretty much the heavy hitters that they have been remade. But this is the new live action for The Little Mermaid. Now, Disney live action remakes, I'm be honest with y'all, they've been very hit or miss. Some have been good, i.e. The Jungle Book. Some have been trash. Some have been so-so, decent, fun, entertainment, but the consistency from a lot of people is that it's unwanted, it's unnecessary. Why are they doing it? But I think this movie might change some people's minds. First off, what are my thoughts on it? I loved it. I absolutely loved it. In my opinion, the top tier Disney live action remake, especially the most recent, would be The Jungle Book. That's just a personal preference. I feel like that was like a perfect remake and definitely needed because the old Jungle Book was so old, and sometimes you just want to see stuff in live action. Sometimes live action is warranted. It's just a different medium of telling the same story, and Disney isn't the only one who made a Jungle Book. Like, there's so many different versions of Jungle Book out there, because I believe it's public domain, or they don't own the rights 100% outright. And I would say this remake, Little Mermaid, is number 2 on my list of best Disney remakes. I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. First off the bat, I knew Halle Bailey, who plays Ariel, was going to be a hit because I love her acting on the show Grownish, and she's an amazing singer. Her group with her sister Chloe and Halle, they've been killing the music scene for a while, and their last album, Unholy Hour or Ungodly Hour, one of those hours, that album was amazing. That was one of my favorite albums of 2020 besides Lady Gaga's Chromatica. So vocals, I knew she was going to kill the songs, the classic songs out the park, like Part of Your World. I had no doubts. And as far as most of the other cast, I really didn't have no doubts. But I will say the only doubt I did have was Melissa McCarthy as Ursula. When they first announced her being cast, I was a little hesitant, but I can gladly say that she killed it. Melissa McCarthy killed it as Ursula. She was amazing in that role. That role was for her. She proved me wrong. She proved me wrong, and I think she proved a lot of other people wrong, because when they first announced her casting, we was like, huh? Really? Her? But she was amazing. To me, Ursula is one of the best villains, period. And R.I.P. to the GOAT, Pat Carroll, who voiced the animated. Melissa McCarthy did her well, did her justice. She did. I think she honored the old character, but also made it her own in a way. And another reason why I love this remake is because unlike the Lion King remake, where it was exactly shot for shot, the exact same film, this one took some liberties and changed some stuff around, gave us a whole lot of extra scenes, built on the relationship of Ariel and Prince Eric. Because to me, honestly, I'm be honest, when I watch these Disney films, the princes are the weakest links of these films. Most of these, especially the classics, the Renaissance, most of the best characters are either the princesses, the sidekicks, or the villains. And Little Mermaid is no different. Like, I did not care about the romantic relationship between Ariel and Prince Eric in the animated film. But this movie kind of changed it around for me. I was rooting for them. I was like, oh yeah, y'all can be together. I was rooting for the heroes to win in the live action. Whereas when I watch the animated series, I'm just enjoying the animated series, loving Ursula, and kind of want Ursula to win. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I love the changes they made. The extra songs were actually cute and nice and catchy. I love the extra music. Lin-Manuel Miranda did a great job, as well as the original songwriter and composer, Alan Menken. I'm glad they brought him back. It's good when they bring the original writers back to these things. And those two guys working together in the music department was amazing. They truly made magic, and I love the soundtrack. I've listened to the soundtrack multiple times outside of the film, because they released the soundtrack last week, like before the film came out, and I listened to it multiple times before watching the movie. And I love the new songs. I think, they were good additions to it, and the extra scenes that builds on the characters, good additions to it. As far as the side characters, like King Triton, played by Javier Bardem, and Sebastian, played by David Diggs, I believe that's his name, and Scuttle, Aquafina, and Flounder. I forgot the actor's name, forgive me, but they all did a great job. Voice acting, those CGI animals, they did a great job. And I feel like people complain about the CGI animals looking too realistic. Well, it's supposed to be a live action remake. It's not supposed to be an animated film. So even though they are using CG animals, I love that they had these animals look realistic. Like Sebastian looking like a real crab when you catch him in the ocean and stuff like that. Like he moved and swam like a real ass crab, even though it's a CGI character. And again, the voice actors did an amazing job. This was a great movie. Like I said, if The Jungle Book is my #1 Disney live action remake, this is #2. They did a great job. They didn't suck. They didn't do shot for shot exactly the same as the animated film. They gave us some extra stuff. And the cameo, I'm not going to spoil it for the people who ain't seen it yet, but it was worth it. It was good. I've had a big smile on my face, and I just laughed. Because it was perfect. The cameo and what they shot and what the actors had to say and do, it was just pure magic. It was amazing, and I feel like this was perfect remake. This deserved to be in the theaters, whereas the Mulan remake, unfortunately, it was because of COVID, they had to go straight to Disney Plus. But I agreed, and I was happy that the Mulan remake went to Disney Plus, because I wouldn't spend money to go see it in the theaters. I was entertained, I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't want to spend 20 plus bucks to go see that in the theater. Same with the Peter Pan, Peter and Wendy, that just was released on Disney Plus last month. Those deserve to go on streaming. They're entertaining, but they're not movie theater worthy entertainment. And when it comes to these live action remakes from Disney, it all depends on the writer, who they hire as the writers and directors. Some do great, some do not so great. Some, like I think it's Jon Favreau, do great on one remake and not so good on the other. Like he did amazing on the Jungle Book remake, but very disappointing on the Lion King remake. I just don't understand. So I think when people have gripes with these live action remakes, I think the blame should not be on the Disney company as a whole. It should be blamed on some of the blame, not all. Some of the blame should be on the writers and directors, because they do have agency, they do have voice, they do have the power to cast the right people, to direct the things. They have the power to go in different directions. Like I would say one of my other remakes that I really enjoy was the Aladdin Remake. Matter of fact, the Aladdin Remake is what started SnakeCinemaReviews. That was the very first review I've ever done on this channel. And I quite enjoyed that film. And I think Guy Ritchie as a director was perfect for that remake. That particular remake, I love his director style. Guy Ritchie, now some of his original films that he make up, like some of his action film stuff, they're very hit or miss. Some I absolutely love, and some I'm like, nah, he could have kept that. But for a Disney remake, for someone to hire Guy Ritchie, I think he did excellent with the Aladdin remake. So I think when people have these gripes or say I can't stand these remakes or I'm sick of them or They suck. I think some of the blame should go on whoever is the directors and the writers, who's in the writers room, because especially the directors, because they have a lot of power and a lot of say in those studios. Yes, they do somewhat follow the story of the animated, their predecessors, but they also have the liberty to go outside the box. Look at Tim Burton. Whether you love the Dumbo or the Alice in Wonderland films or not, I give Tim Burton props for going outside the box. They get outside the box and doing something different instead of doing a shot for shot for shot. We got to hit all these beats. Like, I will always praise Tim Burton for at least trying to do something different when he stepped up and did some of these remakes like the Alice in Wonderland and the Dumbos. Even if they weren't the strongest films altogether or the strongest on my list of favorites, I enjoy their entertainment. They're entertaining, and I enjoy and I respect the fact that instead of doing a shot for shot remake like The Lion King, he actually stepped out and tried to do something different, something weird, something crazy. Only Tim Burton could do. And I feel like Rob Marshall did the exact same thing with Little Mermaid, the Little Mermaid remake. Sorry, y'all, I am so tired and I'm on some painkillers because I had a root canal. So I'm kind of talking slower because I'm trying to think, and and I'm going through pain. But yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed this film. This was amazing. I loved it. I will be going to see it again before it leaves theaters. Probably going to take my niece to see it again, even though they saw it, because we all just really enjoyed it. We loved it. It was amazing. It was great. I give this remake a 9.5 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. I can't give it a 10 out of 10 because to me the Jungle Book is a 10 out of 10. But it is very, very close. Very, very close. And it definitely will be in top 5, if not top 10 of my end of year review at the end of the year. I just really love this movie. All the actors, the direction, they went out the park. Now some of the CGI, I do agree with a friend of mine. She also reviews movies, but she do it on Facebook. Shout out to Katie, but she said that the mermaids and CGI was a little off-putting, and I agree. Some of those CGIs with the mermaids and the swimming and the fins and stuff, it's just a little weird, a little off. But all the acting, all the singing, the storylines, it made up for that. Ursula CGI, Ursula with the tentacles and everything was perfect, and her electric eel sidekicks, they were perfect because they look like real eels, electric eels. If you ever go to an aquarium or just seen them up close, that's how they move, their head structures, their mannerisms, having their mouths always gape open. That is what a fish, an electric eel, is supposed to look like. So I don't care what people say about the fishes and the animals in this looking uncanny valley or whatever, or too realistic. I love that it looked realistic, because I just love animals. So I love that they look realistic in a live action remake. We couldn't hire real eels or real sharks or real crabs for the movie, but the CGI, the FX team, bravo to them. They did excellent. So yeah, the music, the direction, the cinematography, the acting, the singing, give Halle Bailey her props. Oh shoot, really? He's peeing on me in this review. You know what? And I'm not going to edit this out, but I am going to change clothes. Thank you, Lafayette. Thank you. Anyways, this is Snake Cinema Reviews. I'm your host, Prince Elias. This peeing monster is Lafayette. And we will check y'all in the next one. Let me go change. Peace.